able to distinguish the subjective part and the objective part of our experience. The methodology of Vedanta is that it takes you to the core of yourself and then you experience it. Even that experience, which is your beingness, exists within you. It means we cannot escape or separate that. It is beautifully stated that the sweetness of the sweet cannot be distinguished from the sweet, or that sweet does not need to borrow sweetness from any other object. The 14th shloka says, Madhuryadi Swabhavanam, that the sweetness belongs only to sweet. No other object can impart sweetness to it. The sweet is always sweet, and we cannot separate the sweetness. The Atma, the Swabhava, or the nature of the object is separated. Similarly, Atman, or the self, is inseparable from its nature. Consciousness, Chit, and bliss, Ananda. Shloka 15. The question is that if Atman is everywhere, why is it that we do not experience it? This is resolved by pointing out that experience itself is a transactional process of the knower-known relation, which is absent in self-illuminating Atman. To be existent, somebody must know that such a thing exists. But Atman or self is the only exception to this rule, for self is awareness. Swamiji explained this shloka in three parts. The first part is that which has no consciousness cannot extend. The first part is that which has no consciousness cannot extend to consciousness. Secondly, no other consciousness can give you consciousness. Ishvara cannot extend his consciousness to you because Ishvara is also consciousness and you are also consciousness. Thirdly, Atma is consciousness because Atma is knowledge itself. So there is no increase of knowledge in Atma. When we study Vedanta, we feel that we have not increased any knowledge. We have lost ignorance and misunderstanding. Vedanta does not give any encouragement, nor does Vedanta attract you with encouragement or compliments. It says you have already got consciousness. You are unable to experience Atma because it cannot be experienced. If you know the Swabhava, then you will never think that I can experience my own Atma. Till now, we thought that. If it is your nature, your Swabhava, it cannot be experienced. Shloka 16 gives us the scriptural support and goes on to reinforce that Atman is the knower of all knowledge and thus cannot become an object of knowledge. Once Atma shines, everything shines, and Atma is ever shining, ever radiant. Creation is a manifestation of Prakriti, of Maya. It means Atma is self-illuminating, and whatever we see is within Atma. The whole of creation is illumined by Atma. The meditation here is that Atma is light. So my light, my knowledge, my consciousness is reflected. Shloka 17 is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The mind, which is an instrument, can only know the perceivable objects. I'm sorry, all the clocks are going on. All these three, the knower, knowing, and known, are one because something is the substratum on which all these function. Acharya uses the wave ocean illustration to point out that just as waves differ in form but are water, the individual cells differ in appearance but are one consciousness. This explains why the plurality of the minds exist. Everyone is a different wave of that consciousness. We are all connected as the ocean is the connector of the waves. We are separated if we want to see separation. Then we can say that we have different minds. Atman is the ever present, self revealing consciousness. Realization is simply recognizing this intrinsic nature, not attaining something new. The world's diversity is a functional reality with the singular, immutable Atman behind everything. Every member of the family is a different form of consciousness, but behind all this is the consciousness. Ultimately, it is all consciousness, and this is our formula. Swamiji concluded with this, telling us to meditate on that. Hari Om Swamiji.
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्य कृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नमस्ते शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोहग्राहग्रासैककर्मणे श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम नमो नारायणाय So whatever we think about the self or self-knowledge, according to our tradition, we must have some Shastra Pramana for that. So some Shastras support our statement. So this is what Sri Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji is quoting here, the Upanishads statements on what we have discussed. So the Atma and its experience, there is no experiencer other than Atma. So that is, we have studied that part. But the next shloka says, the 18th shloka, Savetti Vedyam Tatsarvam Nanyas Tasyasti Vedita Vidita Vididabhyam Tat Prithak Bodha Swarupakam. Savetti Vedyam Tatsarvam Nanyas Tasyasti Vedita Savetti Vedyam Satsarvam. So whatever to be known is known by Atma. Sa vetti vedyam. So vedya means to be known. And sa, the Atma, tat sarvam vetti. So he knows all that which is to be known in that category. Now, nanyah tasyasti vedita. But Atma cannot be known by anything else. Nanyas tasyasti vedita. It's mean Atma is not knowable. Atma is knower, but Atma cannot be known. Now, knowledge is possible when there is something other than the principle of knowledge. It means the knowledge we can say about knowledge only when there is something other than knowledge. Like when we know book, we say this is book. Of course, this book is different from the knower. The knower is Atma and the book is separate. But not only that, book is different from the knowledge as well. So now knowledge is qualified by the subject or object as book. So what knowledge I have? I say I have the knowledge of book. So this is the difference between the Atma Jnana and other Jnanas. The other knowledge is only possible when there is separation. So the knowledge is possible when there is separation of something, then that is not Atma's knowledge. That is not Atma Jnana. Atma is the self, as we say, is principle of knowledge. It means knowledge itself. Therefore, Atma cannot be known. So it says, Nanyaha tasyasti vedita. So Nanyaha tasyasti vedita. Okay, so that is fine. It means the whole cosmos is filled with knowledge. So whatever we experience is within knowledge. Like we are living in different countries, different states, but we are living within the atmosphere. So the atmosphere, the air, that is covering all our existence. So whole cosmos is filled with knowledge. We are living in that knowledge. So we are part of that knowledge. Therefore, that knowledge cannot be objectified because that knowledge is itself is covering us. So therefore, nanyas tasya asti vedita. Therefore, it is said Atma cannot be known because Atma is vedita. Atma cannot be known. So we can't be the knower of Atma. If I think I know Atma, that is not correct. If I experience I am Atma, I am Brahman, that is correct. Or I experience as Prajnanam Brahma, that is correct. The knowledge is Brahman because I have that consciousness So this consciousness is Brahman, that's okay. But if I say I know Brahman, I am knowing Brahman, then there is something wrong. It means the knower as I am separated from the non-Brahman. Then only the knowing process can happen. What we call it as Triputi. We have elaborately learned it in the last chapter about Triputi. Okay. So therefore, vidita avidita tat prithak bodha swarupakam. Now you see the statement. Therefore, this Atma, this knowledge, its consciousness is vidita avidita prithak. It is different from both the known and unknown, or what we call it as knowable or unknowable, apparently not yet known. The known is vidita, avidita is not yet known, avidita. So it is separate from both. So now you may say, I don't know Atma, I don't know Brahman. But after some time learning all this Vedanta, practicing, doing sadhana, I may get to know. But that's also not correct. What would happen after you are learning and sadhana? The impurities of mind or the confusions which were there in the mind will be removed. That's all. So after that, the experience will appear there. It means you will experience it directly. So that is the beauty of this knowledge. So vidita avididabhyam tat prithaka. So this is what is something known. That is something beyond known and unknown. So we have different barriers, like we know many things and we think that we don't know many things. So this is how we live. Our whole life is with known and unknown. So we travel from known to unknown. We get some knowledge, and based on that we get something more than that, or above that, or deeper than that knowledge. So this is how we establish our knowledge system, or our mental satisfaction. We get more knowledge, so we are more satisfying our intellectual ambitions, that we can say. So we need to know many things. So this is not included in Atma. It means you cannot include Atma also be known. So that is why it is vidita avididabhyam prithak. Now what it is? Bodha rupam, bodha swarupakam. Bodha swarupakam. It is awareness itself. Atma is being, Atma, its existence is awareness itself. We call it sometimes awareness, sometimes consciousness, sometimes knowledge. So it cannot be made an object of knowledge because it itself is knowledge. So then what happened? Now we can, what we can say is, this empirical knowledge, what we call it, knowledge of different objects, the empirical knowledge, the practical knowledge, what we have. Even this Vedanta study is practical knowledge. So all those knowledges, whatever we have as knowledge, we call it empirical knowledge. It's a practical knowledge, it's common knowledge. In that knowledge, this empirical knowledge is part of that universal knowledge. As I said, we are always part of that. So we can't be separate from that. So the whole universe, we can say the whole atmosphere is holding us. It is giving us life. So we are in that atmosphere. So sometimes we call it atmosphere is different from us because atmosphere is above us or something like that. But actually we are in that atmosphere, in that existence. So only we can say this, all the knowledges are just a part of that universal knowledge, which is knowledge itself. So bodha swarupakam. Now, when we call it unknown, because unknown is a mystery for all our system of knowledge, because we are trying to achieve that knowledge of unknown, what is not known yet known. So in fact, that we are asserting that something is unknown. Now you see a beautiful concept on this unknown, because if we remove this concept of unknown, we can be more connected to Atma. Until we think that Atma is unknown, it is not known to us. I have not experienced, I don't know, I have this problem, I have that problem. How can I know Atma? So we are asserting that something is unknown. Now, this we are asserting, when we assert something unknown, we know it's something unknown, it implies our having known it in something, somewhere, in some part. Because I say this object, this something is uncertain, is unknown to me. Now you see, this unknown also implies our having known it in as an object, as something. Because you know it is unknown. You know this is unknown. You know something that is unknown. This you know. So if that is unknown, what do you know? Because unknown cannot be known. Then how you say this is unknown? It sounds like you know something about it, but you are not clear about it. So when I say it is unknown to me, it means I know something about it, some foggy idea I have, but I am not very clear about it. Then only you can say unknown. Okay. So it implies, it indicates there is some knowledge. So therefore we call it as avidita, unknown. But there is also Atma as knowledge. So the negation of the knowledge is indirectly an acceptance of the possibility of knowledge. I repeat this. We say unknown. Now the shloka says vidita and avidita. Vidita means known. It means you saw it, you experienced it. It was very no clear to you. You remember it. Then it's called known. So you know it. But the second part is unknown. Now people may doubt. When I say something is unknown, now how is unknown to me? If that is unknown, then what about consciousness? If I don't know that, then how can I say I'm conscious about it? This is a normal doubt, no? If I say I don't know, then I cannot say I am conscious about it. If I don't know, I am not conscious about it. I don't know, I don't remember it. Now what I am trying to say is, when you say I don't know, you know it. When you say I don't remember, you remember it. Even in that state, in that statements or that experience, I don't say statements because statement is very normal, but that is an experience because you are very, very clear that you don't know. So now how you are clear? How can you assert that I don't know? It is unknown to me. Because you know that it is unknown. So this is the word we used is actually from Upanishad. Jnata or ajnata, vidita and avidita. So in that case, even that negation, I say I don't know that negation of the knowledge. Now you are negating the knowledge. So in this case, if we take consciousness, we are negating the consciousness. I say I am unconscious about it. It means I am negating that particular consciousness form or reflection and say I am unconscious. But that is, even that negation is indirectly a bit of acceptance of the possibility of knowledge. It means I got something there. My awareness is not broken. My awareness is not broken as I know, and my awareness is not broken as I don't know. So if you can get this point, that is the point where your self is centered. Your consciousness is centered. If you can meditate on this, how I differentiate, how I determine that this is known, this is unknown. So who is the knower of known? Who is the knower of unknown? So there is a knower of known, there is a knower of unknown. The both have a knower. Correct? So that is you. That is you, which goes to both, which gives both the knowledge, both awareness. So that is an acceptance that even unknown or the ignorance, we can say instead of unknown, ignorance. So ignorance is also known as an experience. So therefore, bodha swarupam. So bodha swarupam cannot be denied at any cost, at any condition. The bodha swarupam cannot be denied. See, if you want to concentrate and centralize this point, then You have to purify your mind, make the mind subtle, sukshma, with the meditation, with the practice of meditation, concentration, pranayama, and if you need to do asana practice, everything you need to just make this mind stable on this point. Even to describe this point is difficult. And catching on and staying with that point concentration is even difficult. So that is Bodha Swarupam. Now the next sloka again continues with this. Yet another beautiful statement. Bodhepyanubhavo yasya na kathanchana jayate tam katham bodhayechhastram loshtam narasamakritim. Now you see, Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji says, it is very pity on those people who say, where is consciousness? Where I can know consciousness? What is consciousness? You are talking about consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. What is that? I don't know consciousness. People normally say, we all say, I don't know consciousness. I don't know Atman. What is this awareness? So he is laughing on us. He says, you are so fool. You are saying that the where is consciousness? Okay. So we are asking what is consciousness? And you are repeatedly saying, or you are feeling that I don't know consciousness, I don't know Atma. This is what? This is why you are studying Vedanta. If you know Atma, why you will study Vedanta? It means you know that I don't know Atma. I have to study and know it. So these questions, now you see, these questions are there. No, it's very, very practical. If take up these questions and analyze, you don't. There is no need to study any textbook, any Vedanta, any other scriptures, nothing. If you take up these questions, which is constantly there within you, what is consciousness? What is what is consciousness, and where is consciousness, and why I don't know consciousness? What is what is the reason? So you have these questions, and now these questions cannot come without consciousness. Yeah. So this, from where your question is from there only, no? So that is why he says, you say how beautifully he brings all this. It's only when you follow him with the word by word and what he thinks. If you correctly follow, you will enjoy. He's asking, bodhevi anubhavo yasya na kathanjana jayate. The bodha, the consciousness, the knowledge is there. But he's asking, he's saying, no, na kathanjana jayate. He says, no, there is no knowledge. How can I know? How can I know knowledge? So, bodhepi anubhavo yasya na kathanjana jayate. If this is the condition, because that question itself, the inquiry itself is because of consciousness. The question cannot come without consciousness. So you are already conscious of the question, arise and then say, I don't know. So what does it mean? It means you want to make an object. You want to make a thought process on Atma. That is why you say, I don't know. You are unable to make a thought process, the thought on Atma. No, something that is, you want to make some form, something about Atma. So that is not happening. That is not happening constantly. So that thought process is not stable in you. So you are worried. So when that thought process goes, you think, oh, I don't know Atma now. I am not with Atma Jnana. That is the situation. We all have this experience. But the point is, even that thought goes, if you know that thought has gone, that itself is Atma. If you know I forgot Atma, that forgetfulness is also because of consciousness, so you know it. So the Atma is there. And you have question about Atma, as just now I repeated. Where is consciousness? What is consciousness? Who is Atma? What is Atma? So these questions also indirectly from that consciousness. So now you see how easy this Vedanta is. If you directly take up and concentrate on all these thought process. Now we will see two more techniques in this connection. So even the question has that bodha, because bodha swarupam, it's bodha swarupam, it cannot be avoided. It cannot be separated. So even then he says, bodhepi anubhavaha yasya na kathanjana jayate. So now he says, tam katham bodhaye shastram. Now how can scriptures teach him? It's already there. He know it. And he says, I don't know. So tam katham bodhayet shastram. Now how can we teach? How can Shastra impart that knowledge which is already there within him? And when Shastra says the knowledge is within, then people ask, oh, knowledge is within, but for so many years I am not experiencing it. It means it could not be. It's the Shastra is saying something. I have to do some more sadhana, then I will get that knowledge, no consciousness. You see, you can do sadhana for thousands of years. You are not going to get consciousness because consciousness is already there. Or with that consciousness, you are doing sadhana. You are searching for that, doing everything. Now, if you already have that, how can somebody give you that? That's why he says, tam katham bodhaya shastra. Now, how can Shastra impart knowledge to that person who is having the knowledge, is thinks that I don't know, I don't have the knowledge. He is already human being. He says, I am not a human being. So, make me human. If somebody says, how fool he is. So this is what is happening here. So loshtam narasamakritim. He says he is so dull as like a stone. Loshtam. It's like like mud, clay. He has no just like loshtam narasamakritim. He's like made of stone. He's like seeing like a human being, but made of stone. It's a loshtam sarasamakriti. So now how this Guru Shastra is going to teach him? If somebody says like this. You see, this one shloka, 19th shloka, if you contemplate on this, you will stop all the activities. It's complete. Now how beautifully he brings all these ideas into these small shlokas. It's his speciality of his knowledge, his experience, and he can write such poetry. It's very wonderful. So tam katham bodhaye shastram loshta samakritim. So now, whenever you have doubt, the object of doubt may be something different, but try to understand, I know I am doubting. So you know you are doubting, that's enough for us. So that is Atma. If you say, I don't know, that's also that you know it. As I said, no, the negation of knowledge is indirectly acceptance of knowledge. Because you know that you don't know. I know I don't know. So this is also a knowledge. It cannot be denied. So is just bringing an instance, example for this statement. Tam katham bodhaya shastram loshtam narasamakritim. Jihvamesti na vetyuktir lajjaye kevalam yatha. Na buddhyate maya bodho bodhavya idita drishi. Now, refuting the ultimate existence is impossible, or just absurd question that you say there is no Brahman, there is no knowledge, there is no consciousness, I don't know what is consciousness. So all this, the reputation of all this. How it's, you see, jihva me asti nava iti ukti. Somebody says, I have a doubt. He says, I have a doubt that I don't have tongue. I have tongue or no, I have a doubt. So he says that. Jihva me asti navaiti. So he says, it says in the sense, it's verb. He's saying this, verbally he is saying, I don't know I have a tongue or not. So jihva me asti navaiti yukti. Lajjaye kevalam yatha. It's lajjaye, the absurd question. Nobody can understand is what he says, because he himself says, I have no tongue. So how can it possible? Similarly, you say, I don't know Atma, I don't know Brahman, I don't know what is this all-pervading consciousness. So what the Upanishad says, I have to achieve it, I have to know it. And all the teachers, all the masters, all the acharyas, when they talk about this, they repeatedly say you are Brahman. Now, you will not accept, because you don't know how I am going to be Brahman. So, na buddhyade maya bodha. He says, it's like I say, I don't know what is consciousness. Na buddhyade maya bodha. Maya, by me. The consciousness is not known. If you think like that. Bodhavyo iti tadrishi. Now I have to do some effort and I must know it after some time. So this is an absurd, and you can say it's a meaningless statement or foolish statement. If I say, I don't know Atma, I don't know consciousness, I have to know it. Because it is at the background of all your thoughts, even the question, even the doubt, all your thought process is grounded in that consciousness. So in that background, everything is happening. So now if you are not aware about the substratum, the background of the thought process, the knowledge process, therefore you say, I don't know. So now you catch on, hold on this point. Whenever I think, whenever I am aware about known, unknown, yes, no, whatever, I am there, I know it. So my consciousness is there. So continue this process, continue this meditation. The whole, your life will change, and you will see how Atma is all pervading, how Atma is Prajnanam Brahma. It can be experienced directly. So na buddhyade maya bodhaha. So this actually this confusion that I think I don't know makes all other confusions. That's the base of all other confusions. Yasmin nasti loke bodhastattudupakshane yad bodhamatram tad brahmetyevam dhi brahma nishchayaha. So now Acharya is showing, just he is showing the way how we can practice this meditation. Yasmin nasti loke bodhaha tattad upekshane yad bodhamatram tad brahmetyevam dhi brahma nishchayaha. So this is how we can determine Brahman, Brahma nishchayaha, the determination of Brahman. So now yasmin nasti loke. So whatever objects are perceived as object, those are dismissed as objects without knowledge. Yasmin nasti loke bodhaha tattad upekshane. So we can dismiss all those. Like if we take 5 koshas, because our subject of discussion is koshas, so annamaya, pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya, these are the koshas. So yasmin nasti loke bodhas tatad upekshane yad bodhamatram tad brahma. But when you deny all this, dismiss all those, you will get that knowledge, that Brahman, that consciousness which remains. The pure consciousness will remain. So the awareness will be staying back. So analysis of objectivity to the deepest level of subjectivity. So this is one simple technique used in Vedanta. Now we may think, people may ask, if you only concentrate on subject as consciousness, what is the use of objects, the outside objects? Because in waking state, in Jagrat, we have the experience of objects. Now how can we avoid them? How can we always be in meditative mood? It's not possible. We have to act, we have to perceive objects. So how will it happen? So he says, if you really perceive objects, no, you will perceive objects, outside objects, let it be outside objects, But analysis of object outside, if you really analyze them, do an analysis on them, then it goes to deeper level of subjectivity. Because I know an object. Now you see, I will just show you how it's possible, like what is shown here. The pure consciousness remains when you analyze an object outside. Okay, so take an object, gross object, any object outside. So in front of you, if you have a book in front of you, you have a book. Now the book is an object. You are seeing it, you are perceiving it. Now that object is not having consciousness. That's what we think now. Now, for this analysis, we think that the object have no consciousness. But the objectification has consciousness. Object have no consciousness, but the objectification has consciousness. So you understood the difference between object and objectification? Because you are saying it's as a book, I am seeing a book. So that book is not having consciousness. That's okay. It's not conscious about it. But you are conscious about it. You are making the book as an object. So the objectification needs consciousness. So that is you. Now you see, without objectification, that object can be an object. Can that object be an object without objectification? Huh? No. I repeat. Now you see how the objects are also with consciousness. If you objectify them, if you make an object as an object, right? There I said the object as the object as itself is not conscious, because we say the objects are outside, is not conscious. There is no manifested consciousness, because there is no mind, no intellect. So the manifestation of consciousness is not there. Reflected consciousness is not there. Okay, but the Swarupa Jnanam is there. That's different. Now you are seeing it. So when I see a book, I say this is book. Now I can think this is book because of my seeing it as an object. So my seeing is making the book as book. Therefore, I am having the consciousness. My consciousness is reflected in that process. The book is known. So when my consciousness is reflecting on the book, I am objectifying it. Therefore, this objectification is my consciousness. Now you are objectifying it. So you are you are seeing it. So your consciousness is reflected. So the object and objectification, this is the difference. Now this is the first part. Now how I am seeing it, you may say with sense organs I am seeing it. So my eyes, ear, touch, and all sense organs. So sense organs perceive an object. Okay, that's right. Now object is not conscious. objectives are not having consciousness, but the sense organs may, and then the seeing, perceiving process is there. Now you see, the sense organs are also made of physical objects like Panchabhutas, 5 elements. It means all those are made of matter, material. Since they are materials, they cannot be, we can't say they are consciousness. So they have no awareness of themselves because they are material made of matter. But in that, now I am seeing through my eyes. The eyes are not conscious, but the seeing, the energy which is working through, or the knowledge which is working, the sense of that eyes, the perceptivity of that eyesight is known to me. So it's my consciousness. So now the seeing process or the organ of seeing is become conscious because of my reflection. So this is also made of consciousness or reflected consciousness. So the eyesight has that special quality because of consciousness. Therefore, eyesight is able to sense the objects, the color and the form of the objects. Okay, that's also is like that. Now, when I say I see, I should remember that my consciousness, my Atma is seeing. The eyes are only an only medium of that process. Okay. Now the third step is mind. Now without mind, nothing can be known. So we say mind is there. Okay, that's good. But what is mind? Mind is also has reflected consciousness. So the thoughts are not conscious, but the awareness of those thoughts are consciousness. That is what consciousness, awareness of that. So I know my mind has this thought. My mind has now my mind is not good. So my mind is having some anxiety. My mind is having some tension. So all those functions of mind, we separate and we know it. So that mind is not consciousness, but the awareness of mind is consciousness. So when the awareness of mind is there, then mind works. That is what mind. So we can say thoughts are not conscious, but the thoughtfulness is consciousness. Thoughts are not conscious, but thoughtfulness is consciousness because you have that awareness. Similarly, intelligent. Intellect is not conscious, but intelligence or intellection is conscious. So that is consciousness. Intellect is a medium, is an instrument or a function of brain, we can say. So that is called intellect, or brain. We can take it as brain as intellect. So intellect is not conscious, but the intelligence is consciousness. If you know, if you determine something, discriminate something, you can say, I am conscious about it. So there the intellection. So similarly, the ego also you can add into this. Now, just for an example, mirror has no light. You can apply this example in all this, whatever we just now discussed. So mirror has no light, but mirror has the quality to reflect the light. So light shed on mirror, then mirror reflects it. So mirror cannot produce light. So this similarly, intellect cannot produce knowledge. Mind cannot produce thoughts. Organs, sense organs cannot produce knowledge or sense perceptivity. They cannot produce it. So from the object, if we go slowly into all the steps, this is a long meditation. If you apply each one every day and see, you can see the difference how mind get into that knowledge consciousness. So like mirror, no? Remember mirror. Mirror has no light, but it's looks like that mirror is producing light. So this is what he says, yasmin nasti loke bodhas tattadupekshane. So analysis of objectivity to the deepest level of subjectivity. Now we can go through objects to the subject and how the subject as Atma knowledge is connected with the object. See, if we practice this, then yad bodha matram tad brahma. Take only that bodha. As I said, no, object is not Atma, but the objectification has knowledge. Objectification is consciousness. Like the perceptivity is consciousness. Thoughtfulness, mindfulness is consciousness. Intelligence or intellection is consciousness. I say, I know I'm part of ego. So I say, I know. The knowledge is consciousness. So similarly, yad bodhamatram tad brahmaityevam dhi brahma nishchayaha. So one can determine Brahma by this meditation of 5 koshas. Annamaya, Paranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya koshas. Seeing their actions and separating the conscious part and unconscious part, the consciousness and unconsciousness. So what is there as what is the material part of that action and what is the conscious part, the consciousness of that part action. So consciousness can be connected with all actions because without consciousness no action is possible. So this is how in this condition we separate conscious and inert as separate, but to analyze the object and subject. Now what remains is pure awareness, unconditioned, uncontaminated, pure awareness remains. So if you can, even in a dirty action, a wrong action, even from that wrong action, you can separate your consciousness as pure. So this is how it's possible. So consciousness cannot be unpure. It cannot be made unpure. So from punya and papa, good deeds and bad action, bad karmas, the karma as that's the connected with the objects and other thing may be good and bad, but the consciousness connected to that, reflected on that, is always pure. So your self is always pure, uncontaminated with all these actions. So this is how we purify ourselves. This is a purification process. So we contemplate on this and try to purify ourselves this way. Okay, so I conclude my discussion on this here, and if you have any questions, you can please carry on.
Swamiji, may I ask? Hariom?
Yes, Hariom.
Swamiji, by you had earlier mentioned that by doing sadhana, yoga, or meditation, are they actually purifying the instruments only, the sensory organs or mind, whatever it may be? Are they what they are doing is purifying the sense organs? Is it like that?
Correct. Yes, correct.
And Swamiji, whatever or whichever or whoever is understanding within a human being is that that is always consciousness. Only consciousness alone is understanding everything. Whether I am knowing it or not knowing it, that department is consciousness. And Swamiji, the sense organs, you said the sense organs are just instruments. And the consciousness is understanding things through the sense organs. And through the mind, the consciousness is understanding things. And so can we say that mind is also also a sense organ? Like intellect?
No, mind is also sense organ, means mind is sensing all these functions of sense organs. Sense organs we just separate with that. All those are the functions of mind only. Just for the sake of understanding, we make all this separation. Because without mind, one cannot sense any objects, any kind of objects. So that is there, but we never call it mind as sense organ. Mind is a function of this all sense knowledge and organs function. Mind is having thought process, so it is sensing with that. So if you say the sense, what we call it as sensation, the sensation is the function of brain, then that's mind. So that way it can be like that. So it doesn't make any difference. The thing is, we want to separate the organs of action and the organs of sense objection perception. So for this sake, we separate all this with the names. Otherwise, there is all this, the whole body is functioning with brain. So there is no difference in that case. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hari.
Swamiji, there is a question. chat box. Can I read it, Swamiji?
Yeah, please read out.
Yeah. How can I know the unknown portions of what I know? I don't know without effort. Since I should be knowing if already.
That is said, no, unknown is not known, so it is called unknown. But the thing is, you know that is unknown. That is the meditation here. So something is unknown means it is not made as an object for your thoughts. No, there is no thought process created from that object. So that is why it is unknown to you. If something is unknown, there are so many ways to make it known, is to objectify that. That is a different thing. That's all connected to the actions. But the point here is what we call as unknown is also known, that we know that is unknown.
It is unknown.
This is how its Atma is connected. So when you know this, you are having the omni knowledge. It means you are sarvajna. You know that I know even that I don't know. So that also I know. So this is the point where we experience Atma directly. That's the point discussed here. So there are so many ways to know what is unknown. So till today, what is unknown, we can know by many means. You have to rightly find out the means to take up that knowledge. That's all. It's not the subject of consciousness. It's the subject of other, what you say, the other knowledge, other science and things like that. You want to know how to drive a car, so you have to learn that how to drive a car. If you know Atma, you can't drive a car, so it is not connected to that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jayashree, you can unmute and ask the question.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Ah.
Swamiji, you were telling about objectification, intelligence, and about thoughtfulness. So that is the function of that is done by consciousness. Means it is if the objects are there, mind is there, or intelligence is there, intellect is there, it is of no use unless the consciousness reveals them. Consciousness in the presence of consciousness only that they function. It comes to our knowledge. Is that meant by that?
Correct. Because consciousness is always there. The functions are no, it's sometimes functions are there. Sometimes if there is no function, it doesn't appear. Consciousness is always there. But when it is functioning, normally we think mind is functioning, so mind knows.
Yes.
But the truth is, mind knows because the knowledge is there. As consciousness is there, then mind knows.
Okay.
So this is the difference. Therefore, I say the mind is an instrument which can function sometimes, which may not function sometime, or which can get some problems and some things, some damages or something. But the consciousness reflected on mind cannot be separated from that. Therefore, it cannot get any problem. So that is always pure. So the mind as its origin, we call it it's jadam, as unconscious. But the function of mind is reflected as knowledge. It's because of Atma. That's the idea there. So now we are separating instrument and its function and the knowledge formed in that. So knowledge formed in that is because of Atma. So functions are happening, actions are happening in that instrument. This is the distinction of Atma and its function.
The perception happens due to the consciousness, whatever that instrument functions or not. That perception of that awareness of that happens due to the consciousness.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, welcome.
Swamiji, you're saying that we say table consciousness and book consciousness and all that. And what I understood is that I am lending the consciousness to this inert object, and hence it's becoming a conscious object. But when I am not there, like as a body, like creation is always there. Creation is also inert. So then how do we explain that? Like I as a body is not there, but the table is still there, the creation is still there. So then again, how can we say the book conscious?
Let it be there. Let it be there, because until you are not aware about it, for you it is not there. So when I am aware about something, for me it is there, because there are so many things I am not aware.
Yes.
So if somebody asks, is it there or not, I can't say it's there or not, because I am not aware about it. So if let the creation be there, if you are not aware about it, there is no creation for you, because in deep sleep, the next sloka we will discuss that in deep sleep, when we are isolated in deep sleep, then there is no world, there is no object. So all the objects, maybe that they are there or not, for us it is not there, who are in deep sleep. So this is dismissed. So that is why it is very important to take up this point, to understand this, how it happens. We are always thinking about the objects outside. We think the objects are there, so we are knowing it. Now the Vedanta says, because you are there, so the objects are there. Because you know it, then the objects are there. If you don't know, if you are not knowing, then there is no object for you. That's the truth. Okay.
Okay, so it is like subjective, means it's like I am saying object is not there because I am not aware of awareness.
That is why when we ask the question, if it's like a individual connection with the objects. Now we are talking about individuality. Now, if I know something, then I can say I know it. If somebody knows something, I cannot say he or she knows that. It's not my cup of tea. How can I say that about it? So if I know, I can say I know. I don't know, I can say I don't know. But the other objects is not my consideration. It's like, no, it's separated from me. So similarly, when we talk about individual knowledge function, that is what we talk about, because that is the knowledge, that is what we should understand. What is happening outside, it's not a matter of our discussion. No, that there be, let it be there. We don't worry about it. So this is how, if once we understand our own process, we will understand the whole world. So this is the secret of that.
Thank you, Swami.
Thank you.
Essence of
No
what you
more
said.
questions, Swamiji.
Okay, so
What you just said is, as long as our consciousness is spread outside through our sensory organs, the world is there for that person.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Narayan.
धन्यवाद